3.
You were the sole provider of our home.
Yeah, and then to have just my whole world come crashing down because of
Yeah.
COVID, like so many other people around the world. For us, it was like,
Devastating.
yeah,
And I still remember to this day, like panicking, like
Mhm.
seriously panicking. I was like, worst case scenarioing everything, which is
is
what I
you
do.
do.
Which is
Yeah.
what I do. Welcome to the part 2 of our story 2.0.
2.0.
This is like the condensed version
It is
of
condensed milk.
our story and how we kind of ended up where we are.
Mhm.
This is from how many years ago?
12.
12 years
12
ago?
years, yeah.
No. Was it
Or we're
12?
picking,
No,
okay,
10
the
years.
whole story is 12 years.
Sorry, now we're 10 years ago.
Now what?
Wait, 5 years ago? No, when did we end up in
COVID,
Toronto?
ladies and gentlemen, COVID,
Oh, sorry,
really
COVID
did
was
a
5
number
years
on
ago.
her.
Oh my God.
It made her have long-term memory loss, and now she's thought that COVID was 10 years ago.
Oh, no.
COVID is 2020, babe.
No.
It's now 2025.
Yeah.
We're almost exactly 5 years since ground zero outbreak or whatever they call it.
So COVID started literally a few months after we got there, I think. Like less than a year. Less than a year after we got there.
Okay, let me take this story.
We got there in 2019.
2019, we were there for a year.
Yeah.
It was a great time.
Yeah.
We went
were
to Texas for
working.
work.
Mhm.
A great time, meaning like not the work part, because I was working 12
long
hours, 6 days a week.
You barely got to see us. You would come
Yeah.
home at like 7 p.m. and you would leave at like 4 a.m.
Yeah, we just
So
enough
you didn't
time
really get to spend a lot of time with us.
But that year sucked.
Yeah.
Work wise. But then
Work-wise.
after that year, COVID happened and it hit, and I lost my job. So I lost my job with Bombardier, and then I got hired at another place, and so I was there for a
Temporarily.
few months, and then COVID really kind of stepped up, and then they laid off all the contractors.
Yeah.
And I remember coming home, and I was like, so I lost my job. Like we kind of knew it was coming because my industry was.
But at the
just
same time, they
devastated.
said like the aircraft industry wouldn't stop. They had said it was like false hope, to be honest.
That's
I think
what
they
it
said
was.
that. Yeah, I think they said that to kind of just.
Not to scare people.
Yeah.
But it kind of did the opposite because we all got laid off. Everybody that I had worked with, contracting at Bombardier,
And
everybody was out of work.
I wasn't working, obviously. Zainab was a little over
She's
2 years.
almost 2.
Yeah.
Almost 2.
So I wasn't working.
Or almost 3. Almost 3.
You were the sole provider of our home.
Yeah, and then to have just my whole world come crashing down because of COVID, like so many other people around the world. For us, it was like
devastating.
Yeah,
especially because we didn't have any family there. We had just moved across the country. We couldn't afford to obviously move back. Just a lot of unknowns. And I still remember to this day, like panicking, like seriously panicking. I was like, worst case scenarioing everything, which is what I do. Which is what I do. I immediately go to worst case scenario. And I remember you looking at me and being like, Allah didn't bring us here for no reason. You're like, I don't know what reason we're here or why this happened, but you just have to have faith that Allah is going to take care of us. And at that moment, I was like, okay, I trust you. I trust that Allah's going to take care of us.
I think that's what every husband who has no idea about what to do, I think that's what we all say.
Yeah.
We try to comfort our wives in the best way that we can, and that it's God's plan, and at the end of the day it is God's plan.
Yeah.
And for us, I remember the exact verbiage that I used, and that was that Allah didn't bring us this far to abandon us here.
Yeah.
And I genuinely believed it, and subhanallah, what happened after that has been an absolute roller coaster ride of just amazingness.
We would not be sitting here in Malaysia right now had you not said those words and us not believed those words. It's just crazy.
So we had jumped on TikTok around the same time.
Yeah, when
for
COVID
fun,
started.
like no reason. I thought it was kind of a dumb app, to be honest. It was like no attention span. There's nothing like in depth. It's just like short form content, right? Which we weren't used to at that time.
Yeah, people were making silly videos. Like I remember the very first video we did was a Selena Gomez song that you were lip syncing with our cat. Yeah. You had like the cat up in your face and you were just singing to the cat.
But the reason for that is
first video we ever did.
Because the cat pushes me away. We were buddies, but he's like, bruh.
Yeah, he was like pushing you
away. Yeah.
That was the first video we ever did. And obviously it didn't pick up, but we just kept pushing. We're
Yeah.
like, you know what? This is fun. Like, we just did it for fun for ourselves.
What else are you gonna do
What else-
during lockdown?
What else are you
For
gonna do?
real.
So
Yeah.
we did a couple videos where we were like poking fun at each other because you're white, I'm brown, Canadian, Pakistani. So we thought that was kind of cool. We're like, you know what? There's not a lot of like mixed culture couples out here creating content, at least. And we did this one video where we went into 2 separate rooms and we changed our outfits. And each time we came out, we were wearing different outfits.
Different cultures.
So
we
you
were
would
trying
be,
to line it up.
yeah, you would be wearing like a Canadian outfit, and I'd come out wearing like a Desi outfit, and we're like, oh, and then we'd go back and switch, and then switch and switch, and it was just really funny. It was like a comedy skit, and then the comedy was that we were getting ready for a wedding and we couldn't figure out what to wear, and at the end of it, we just like
scrap the wedding and watch Netflix.
And just like laid there and we're like, you know what? We're not doing it. And that video, we posted it and that video exploded. This is when TikTok was making celebrities at that time. Like it was crazy. Do you remember how many views we got in the first 24 hours?
I remember before bed, you were like, oh my God, it's at 100,000 views. And then we went to bed, and then I remember saying to you, I was like, don't wake me up unless it hits 1 million. Like, I was joking.
Yeah.
And then you woke me up and you're like, oh my God, it hit 1 million.
Which is unheard. It was unheard of at this time. Like, that amount of views was like crazy.
Yeah.
And I think we grew a lot of followers overnight too.
It just snowballed.
Yeah.
It just became this thing that we used. Not only, we realized at that point that we kind of have a bigger responsibility. And that was not just to, put out silly comedy content or whatever, but also to educate people and to humanize Muslims to the world, because we've all been there, we've all seen it, we've all lived through it, about the dehumanization of Muslims, about the the racism, culturalism, whatever you want to call it, pegging us all as terrorists or oppressed people or whatever.
But all that came really organically.
Yeah,
like
that's what I mean.
Like, we never had like the motivation to do that until people started asking questions. And
Yeah,
it was like really interesting, basic questions.
Very.
Like, what are you wearing on your head? Or like, why do you have a beard?
Yeah.
Simple questions like that. And we're like, we can talk about that.
And then, so many of the videos that we did about just like hijab and why you wear it, or who you wear it in front of. And we have one, I think it's probably like 25 million views on TikTok, right? And just these crazy thing. And then with YouTube, that exploded the following year. And that same video has like 85 million views or something
it's absolutely
on
crazy.
YouTube.
We should make it clear though, we never made a penny off of TikTok, even to this day. So we were just making the content to just make the content. We weren't making any, we never had an income from it at all. It opened
so many doors for us.
But it opened doors.
Yeah.
So within a few months, there was a talent agency that we started talking to. We were still at that house.
Yeah.
And we were just in the process of moving to our new house.
Well, rewind.
Rewind, yeah.
We can't talk about why we moved. Or when we moved, without talking about why we moved.
Okay.
And so right after I lost my job and TikTok was kind of blowing up for us in Canada, you saw the trend of tie-dye coming back.
Yeah.
And you had a light bulb moment and you decided, why not hijab? So I remember, you went and you bought from Walmart some powder dye and you threw it on there and washed it out. And
I started just wearing it.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting because people were like, where did you get that? Oh my God, I want one. And then it was like, wait a second.
And I wasn't even like advertising it as a business. I was just wearing it and people were like, where'd you get it from? Oh my God.
Yeah.
And that's when you and I were like, nobody's
like
doing this. Yeah.
Moment.
And we had very little savings, obviously.
We were trying
to survive COVID.
We were blessed in that I got a call to do a skin change on an aircraft in Montreal and was there for like 2 or 3 weeks. Pay was amazing. So we just took all of that it's not like making so much money, but a little bit of money, and we just dumped it into inventory. And then we got it. We dyed everything out. We had the plan, a little photo shoot. We launched the business, Lala Hijabs. Yeah. And it sold out in 24 hours.
Yeah. Which is insane.
It was unreal.
Like, I didn't expect people to even want to buy the stuff. And then we were like, wow. So then we took the profits from that and reinvested and to this day, we're still doing that, like growing the business. And
stay tuned because there are some very big things coming very shortly in regards to Lala Hijabs and some revolutionary type products in the hijab industry.
So it was right at that time where we were really like, we had Lala Hijabs in one bedroom. It was like a spare bedroom.
Yeah.
How big was that bedroom?
10 by 12.
Oh my God, it was so small.
And it was literally like
Inventory,
packing table, inventory,
packing, storage.
dyeing area, racks to store it, like
Oh my God.
places to hang it. It was crazy.
It was insane.
Crazy.
And the amount of orders that we were getting, and the kids were excited about it. We finally had something to do together.
Yeah.
We were packing, like we would literally put the kids to sleep, and then we would go and like turn Justin Bieber on, listen to some music, and just like I would pack orders, and you would be like dying.
We'd be on live. We'd be on live on TikTok.
And we would be on live
packing orders.
Yeah,
talking to
I remember
people.
that.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a cool time.
Yeah.
We were really close with our community, and it was at that time when that talent agency we started talking to them, and they basically signed us on.
Yep.
We moved to the new house that we just moved out of just a few days ago.
Yeah.
Not a few days ago, but a few months ago. And that's when brands started working with us. Yeah. And that's when our income started picking up.
Yeah.
So that's where we were like, whoa.
We saw the full circle.
Yeah.
Right, of losing my job and being penniless, essentially. Yeah. And then like, wow, it truly, with patience and prayer, Allah can change your condition. Right?
Yeah, you would never know. Like, little old us would be looking at where we are now, and we'd be like, wow.
No, we never would have thought. We never would have thought that we would. I never thought we would be here.
No.
Like, not only are we here, we homeschool our kids. We work from home. So we have so many blessings in our life that we're able to always be together.
Which is what we love.
Which is what we always want.
People think we're crazy.
Yeah.
Like, why do you want to be at home with your kids all the time? Like, man, I love my kids so much. I am not one of those parents. Not saying it's a bad thing, but I'm not one of those parents that is happy when their kids are gone. I'm just not. Even sitting here right now, like, it's
she's
only
getting text messages from her mom, and she's like, "Yusuf's crying. We're 10 minutes. We're 10 minutes away. Like,
literally 10 minutes away, and we're only here for like an hour. But I'm still like anxious about it. But that's a whole other podcast that we can talk about our parenting style. But
again, there's still so much of this story that are individual podcasts. So I'm sure we'll get to them at some point.
But here we are. This is what happened.
Yeah. So through that, the exposure, we've worked with some of the biggest brands in Canada, whether that's Toys R Us, Canadian Tire,
Winners, Nintendo,
The Bay. So
like
many,
literally every brand you can think of, we've probably worked with them.
Yeah, at some point or another, we've probably worked with them.
Yeah, subhanAllah.
And it's been incredible. Our following is like probably 3.5 million right now between our three platforms that we use.
Started at 0 and 3.5 million.
Yeah, and it's enabled us to work with Human Concern International, which is again a whole other podcast. But we've traveled. 2023, we did 11 countries in 1 year. With 3 kids.
We traveled during COVID actually with them. Let's just quickly
branch off?
Branch into that, because humanitarian work was obviously not on our plate of things to do.
Circle back.
Yeah.
When the year we got married,
that's
2014,
right.
We got married in 2013, but 2014, we did a fundraiser for Gaza.
There was a war at that time, the 2014 war.
It's more like mowing the lawn in Gaza again. But you and I organized a fundraiser for Gaza in our local masjid. We had a program. I think I probably gave a speech or something. I don't remember that, but and we raised a modest $3,000 or something.
It's a very small amount of money.
Yeah.
But I still remember donating it and being like,
so it's always been part of us.
The activism was rooted in us, but we didn't know how to go about it. So when we were approached by the charity, they were like, hey, do you want to come and actually distribute aid?
Look, they used us as guinea pigs. Let's be honest. So
we were the first influencers in the Muslim charity world.
Travel work out with us and our kids. Yeah. So we went to Turkey. Come on now, it's Turkey.
And Syria.
But, and I went to Idlib, Syria for a night. I have nothing but regret about that. But it was very hard on my kids to see me go.
That was devastating.
Yeah, I don't even want to go there.
Never leave to a different country without us ever again. That was
I'm not
hard.
going to. I haven't since, and nor will I ever.
I know.
Inshallah.
Yeah.
But and I mean, since then we went to Lebanon, to Jordan, to Palestine. We're going to Egypt in a couple of weeks to meet Gazan refugees.
We've done a lot
It's
of
been
things.
crazy. We've
And the
done so
wild
much.
thing, when you think about this, is none of it would be possible if it wasn't for our audience,
Yeah.
for you, the
Yeah,
listeners
if the
right
people who
now.
are listening are the reason that we're here,
Yeah.
they're the reason that we were able to build the Village of Hope in Syria, which was an entire village for displaced people,
Yeah.
to take them out of the tent camps that I was, that I actually went to and
Mm-hmm.
seen the condition of the people. Would never have enabled us to build water wells, so many
Everywhere.
dozens and dozens and dozens of water
Afghanistan,
wells.
Africa, Bangladesh, Pakistan. We've built water wells all around the world.
And the biggest water well we built was in Jerusalem,
Mm-hmm.
that was able to provide fresh, clean drinking water to the neighborhood of like 11,000 people who were cut off
Yeah.
from water, and also provide water to the orchard, the olive tree orchard that we planted by hand when we were there in Palestine.
So many incredible projects,
yeah.
honestly. Like, we were able to provide sewing machines to Uyghur refugees. We were able to sponsor so many different orphans all around the world, whether that's Syrian orphans, Palestinian orphans, like you name it, we've probably done it.
Yeah.
And
And
none of
being
that
able
was
to
possible
expose
without
our
you.
children to the reality of life outside of the kind of sheltered Western world that they grew up in. They have such an affection for children, for displaced people, for refugees, for war torn, of all. Like, they have such soft hearts. But being able to do that has like made them just the most incredible little
Empathetic kids.
humanitarians. Every bit of it is a blessing, and every bit of it is because of you guys. So, and I can segue just briefly into the biggest challenge that we're embarking upon, and that is to sponsor 10,000 Palestinian or Gazan children who are now orphaned because of the genocide that has taken place. And we have that campaign running right now, guys. So please jump over, follow the links. I'm sure we'll have it in the down below. But do donate, because it is the biggest project, the biggest undertaking that we've ever done.
There's
So
a lot.
we need your help.
There's a lot of kids that are now left with nothing.
It's anywhere between 15 to 50,000 children are orphaned. And if we can, collectively, as a community, take 10,000 of them and provide food, like their nutrition is covered, their education is covered, their extracurricular
water.
activities, their shelter, all of these things are covered in that 1 year sponsorship. That would be just incredible, amazing. Okay, back into the story now. So I don't even know where to.
Yeah, so we started doing all this humanitarian work. We were working with brands, all that stuff, and we were at the height, I would say, of our careers. And then October 7th happened, and it was at that time where basically everything led up to that time, whether it was working with brands or traveling and doing all this stuff, and we were just set to go to Spain for a brand deal with a close friend of mine.
On the 7th or the 8th.
Yeah,
of October,
like a day or two
Spain.
after it. And it's called Sisters Getaway. Definitely check them out. They're incredible.
Sister
Friend of mine.
It's amazing.
She's amazing. And I told her right at that moment, I was like, I can't post this. I don't feel right about posting about a Sisters Getaway when this is happening. And at that time, we didn't even know it was going to be a genocide. We thought it was going to be like a day or
Another
two bombing.
campaign,
And here we are now, over 15, 16 months later, and it's still happening. SubhanAllah.
Just because you transition from Gaza to the West Bank, it doesn't mean that you've stopped.
Exactly.
You're war criminals and should be held accountable.
So at that time, you and I sat down. We're like, okay, so we have two options here. Number one, we go on with our life. We still continue our comedic content and blah, blah, blah. And on our conscience, we will never be able to sleep at night. We will never be able to sleep at night.
Honestly, I mean, we had that discussion, but you and I both knew that right now, there's a line in the sand that's drawn. And what side are you on?
Exactly.
So many of these Muslim influencers, if you want to call them that, these fake, pathetic people, I have to say it is what it is, who didn't have the intestinal fortitude, if you want to say it in a nice way, to stand up and speak out against what was happening. You have some of these massive creators, Muslim creators, and you want to teach about Islam, but you won't even speak out, or you won't post content, or you won't amplify the voices of Palestinians to put on your page because you don't want to muddy up your feed. You're pathetic. I don't respect you. May Allah guide you and forgive you for what you've done.
And that's a whole other podcast topic. But we knew like the second option was, okay, we talk about Gaza, we talk about Palestine, we use
as we've always done. If you
But
look at
yeah,
our videos, you have entire playlists about Palestine.
100%.
Every
It's
protest
been
we're
like that
there.
for
Like,
years,
it's
for
always been
sure.
that way.
But we knew that in this moment,
It's
this was
different.
different. This
It's
was
different.
different, and we had to dedicate every video, and we had to halt every collaboration we had. And we literally decided exactly that. We're like, let's basically toss our career down the toilet, which is, subhanAllah, obviously, again, that fear factor came in. We're
Of
like,
course.
okay, so we're about to lose all of our income. What do we do from
Yeah.
here?
And
So,
and that's one of those things where this is what iman is. This is what faith is. And it is in that when you do something for the sake of Allah, you may not see the reward for it immediately, right? But we knew, I mean, we're people who aren't fake. We try to be as genuine as you can. And that's why people like our friends who either know us or find out later that, you know, that we do have a following, they're like, but you guys are so normal. Like, you get
Totally
what you
normal.
get with us, right? So we made that decision. There was a no-brainer. It wasn't a choice. We were like, this is
knew.
happening. And subhanAllah, it closed many doors. So when we came back from our Spain trip, we immediately lost brand deals. We had, you know, like brand deals worth a lot of money that were already signed. The content was already made, literally waiting to be posted. And these companies, you know, they're like, no, we don't want to post that. One of them, what was the name of that company? I'm going to shout them out right now. The fire alarm company.
I don't know if we can legally.
I don't care.
No, I don't think we can.
No?
No.
Okay, well, you know who you are.
Well, it's a fire alarm company. That's all I can say.
Yeah, okay. Well, it's a company that prides themselves on the protection of children in Canada and America.
But not Gazan children.
But not children who are being bombed to death, you know. So they don't care enough about those children. And it was honestly, it was my favorite brand deal because we had done this like incredible commercial. I spent time making a costume in it. It was cool. But they still paid us. But they're like, don't post it. Yeah. Like that. You're so lame slimy. And pathetic.
Very slimy.
So we lost a few brand deals like that were already signed.
And then months went by and it was crickets because obviously we had so much Palestine content on our pages and nobody wanted to affiliate with us. So then we had this discussion with our talent agency. We had to schedule a meeting, just a regular meeting to go over our numbers and all that stuff. And then they were like, yeah, so we're going to part ways. Yeah. And we're like,
we think it's better for you. You know, you guys are planning to move to Malaysia, and let's. Okay, I want to.
It's reality is they dumped us. Like,
yeah, I mean, I want to be careful because I love our agent, I love our manager. Our manager especially went to bat for us so many times because of us being Muslim and our value. So you know, we have so much love and respect. But at the end of the day, I mean,
but we weren't good enough to be kept. Which is the reality because we stood for Palestine. It is what it is. Like we have to say it for what it is. You have to
call it out for what it is.
You have to call it out for what it is because that is 100% the reason why we were dropped. And they said it was a mutual thing. Definitely wasn't a mutual thing because we were not expecting that. Yeah. But it is what it is, subhanAllah. And
not only that, which I thought about this last night and I was like, damn. But we had a deal that we were supposed to come back from Spain and finalize, sign the papers, which would have assured 6 figures up front for a book deal. Yeah. And then when we came back, we're like, okay, guys, we're like, nope, we've decided to move on.
That's right.
Like, you've been pestering us for like 2 years.
Yeah, to write a book.
We've had meetings with our agents. We've gone through everything. And then it's like, no, we're going to move on.
I know. Yeah, there was a lot of things that were supposed to happen that didn't happen. Yeah. SubhanAllah, it is what it is.
But hey, again, Islamically speaking, whatever missed you could never have hit you. And whatever hit you could never have been avoided. So alhamdulillah for everything. Honestly, it's just blessing after blessing. You see the blessings through these issues that come about. I mean, how many amazing companies and amazing people have we met since that are like, no, we stand with you guys. Like, we want to work with you guys because you are, you know, who you are. Like Husna Vacations.
Oh, love them.
Like, people that we still owe you a video, guys.
Yeah.
But like, just connect. Like, Allah has just connected us with so many good incredible people.
Durio Plus.
Like, the reason we're literally living in Malaysia right now. These companies and these people who are like so in line with us.
Yeah, they stand
It's
for
like,
right.
forget these other people. Forget these fake influencers that just want clout and they just want money and they don't want to make their page look dirty with a dead Palestinian children. Forget these people.
Yeah.
Forget these companies that are just Zionist controlled and Zionist owned. You're pathetic. You have no backbone. You have no spine. People like, shout out to Miss Rachel. Who are
Miss Rachel followed me.
Yeah, she did on Instagram.
I was fangirling. I was like, she actually followed me on Instagram.
But people like her, people like Candace Owens, people like Tucker Carlson, like these people who are like, they're smart. They're not they're not controlled.
It's not about being smart. It's about the fact that they have a heart.
Well, no, but
and they have a conscience.
It's about being controlled
and being human.
You're either bought and paid for, or you're a human.
You're human.
That's it.
Like, you should always choose to be human. Yeah. And that's the thing. And that's a whole other podcast topic. But anyways, so that's how we ended up here. So we, lost all of our income, subhanAllah. But we also signed on to be global family ambassadors with HCI.
Yeah.
So now we're able to make such a big impact around the world and do this full time and really enjoy spreading the word about activism. And that's something that we're so privileged to do. And so now,
because of you guys?
Yeah, because of you guys. And literally at the end of this month, we're going to Egypt to meet families that have evacuated Gaza.
Yeah.
And load aid trucks that are going to be going into Gaza and all the things, like, and none of that would be possible without
don't forget, guys, that Human Concern International has been in Gaza this entire time, feeding
for
people
20 years.
For 20 years, but during this genocide, our team was bombed and killed. In Gaza.
Yeah. Our warehouse was.
Yeah, and so the kitchens, the HCI kitchens, have been functioning the entire time.
They've been giving over 4,000 meals a day.
SubhanAllah.
That's. Like, you count that many meals, that's a lot of families that they've fed.
And that's a lot of sadaqah. That's a lot of your guys' hard-earned money going to help these people. So we ask you guys, please continue to donate. Again, this campaign, 10,000 orphans. I don't know if we can do it.
Inshallah,
but we can't do it without your help.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, then that led us to getting dropped by our agency and everything. We just realized that Canada is not it.
Yeah.
The amount of racism. Canada is America. But they're quiet.
They're quiet about being racist. They're still racist.
Yeah.
But they do it
on a computer. They do it on a computer. If you don't believe us, go to the video that we did, 5 reasons why we're leaving Canada, and just read the comments.
Yeah.
And it literally proves the point of why we don't want to be there.
Exactly. So that's what led us ultimately after October 7th. We're like, now's the time. You go back to when we had honeymooned here. We didn't have any kids. Now we had kids. So then last year we decided after October 7th, we're like, let's just bring the kids here and see how they like it. If they like it the same as how we did. Lo and
behold, they loved it.
Literally got here and they were like, wow, like, I can swim every day. I can wear hijab. I can wear my gefia outside.
Everywhere
Look, Mom,
you go,
there's Palestine flags. like anywhere you go, there's Palestine flags. Like, the amount of love they have for Palestine is huge here. And
even the non-Muslims. I remember, like, my Christian cab driver, Indian Christian cab driver, with his, Palestinian flag. And this is when we were here last year, and he was just trashing the Zionists. Like, I was like, dude, you're amazing. Right? That's just how it is here. That's people here, genuinely, they don't have this same type of mental conditioning that people in the West do.
Yeah, it's true. So we loved it anyway. And then we were like, okay, let's just do this. This is a once in a lifetime decision. And we did a video recently talking about how we also got hired on with Durio Plus and how we were able to get visas to come here. And so we literally left, went back to Canada, packed up our stuff, and here we are. And now we're going to be doing a very consistent podcast. So we're very excited to continue on this journey, but we're going to have to end it here because there's a lot to talk about.
There's so much to talk about.
And we could literally go on forever. But this is like, in a nutshell, how we ended up to where we are.
Yep.
And we'll go into more detail about
we'll pick up many topics. One I want to do for all the ladies who follow us, which is the majority of our audience, is I'm going to interview Sana about her life and her journey and everything else that she's
And I'm going to interview Will for all the men out there who want to know how he became Muslim, how he decided to finally say his Shahada, and how that story came
there's
about.
So much, guys. There's honestly so much. But yeah, without you guys, we wouldn't be here. Please continue to donate to the fundraiser that we have in place right now. Please, shout out to Durio Plus. If you guys don't know who Durio Plus is, I suggest you definitely check them out. They have amazing content. They just launched their V2 version of their app, which is phenomenal. It's like the usability is like, it's like Netflix and YouTube combined into one
but for
app,
Muslim kids.
but for Muslim kids.
You can your kids can learn how to recite Quran on the app. Like there's so much amazing stuff. Anyways, there's a lot to talk about. So we'll end it there, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Yep, absolutely, guys. So do stay tuned. We're going to be posting the podcast weekly, maybe even 2 times a week. We'll see how this goes. But for right now, guys, thank you so much. Take care, and we will see you in the next one. Assalamu alaikum.